Good morning to all of you. Just wait for 1 minute and then we will start our class. Okay. Good morning to all of you. So today we are going to discuss on the next topic of distributed database actually. Previously we have seen some query and SQL part, and now we are going to see the database system or some distributed database system, the centralized distributed database system. So previously we all know that the database system consists of one place. Means whatever the things that we have studied in our basics actually, that a database system mainly stored on a local computer or some local server. But while the upgradation or the advanced things have goes on, so the modification and some necessary changes and new technologies have developed, and the database system has also upgraded. So some network database system or centralized distributed database system has come into the scenario, where the thing is that some process and memory is a part of the shared things. Some databases are present and they are stored in several places. Now, we are going to discuss as per the with the example and whatever the things are actually. So first, we will see here we can see a simple diagram of a database system where a process, memory we can see, and some database we can see here. Okay, so the software we can work on it is there some application software, some SQL front end software, some query processing software, and some transaction processing software, and a file access software. Okay, so means what is the simplification is that a single content, one place to keep data, logs, all of these things happens if a processor fails, the system fails. So this is the basic things of a database system. We all know that. Now moving to the next part, the distributed database system, that the upgradation, while the upgradation have been done in the multiple processors and some memories have been developed. So processors are multiple and memories are present. So it is a component, a new components have been developed. So we will go for a example. Looks like a server computer, a company such as like an IBM has offices in several places. So IBM has their branches in several places, Kolkata, everywhere, Kolkata, Bangalore, or even some outside the country in other countries like London, New York, Hong Kong. So every places have some IBM have some office of branches. Now a large number of employees work for IBM. Fine. So IBM has a headquarter, a centralized headquarter place where all the data is present. Fine. Now the scenario is that every office or every branches have the data of their own employees, the detail of their own employees. So the thing is that IBM has a centralized data server store where all the thing has been kept, and also at the same time each of the branches have their own data. So means two data are simultaneously present at two places. One is on the local branch and another one is on the centralized headquarter office. So these data such as like the employee number, employee name, the title, salary details, the address, the phone numbers, these are the common parameters we can say that needs to be present in every database. So this employee data table if we are talking about, so two, as I said that the same things will be placed in two places. One is at the local branch and another one is at the uh, central branch or centralized headquarter branch. So the data redundancy, we can see here there are two data is placed, means same data is placed in two places or two or more than two places also, sometimes two or three places, sometimes maybe there are regional headquarters. So talking about a single means one of a simple scenario, maybe a local branch, then some a regional headquarters, then some the centralized headquarters. So these changes needs to be there. So employee data is managed at the local office where the employee works, such as the payroll, benefits, hire, this type of things. And IBF needs the consolidated access to employees data. Centralized storage is there where all the data is placed consolidated, where the headquarter or the head of the people, head office of the persons of the head offices can also access the data, can also look for the data, and they can also change the benefit of the plans and affect that which affects all the employees. So this type of similar data needs to be can be present at the same time in two or three more type of databases. So here we can see a simple diagram where the three places have been put here, that are London, New York, and Hong Kong. The three branches we can say. So, and every branches have some their own databases for the London employee, for the New York employee, for the Hong Kong employee. So every employee have some, every organization or every branch of the single organization have some own databases where all the store, all the data is placed of the local branches is. And they are now the scenario is that the internet takes up plays a huge role here, because via this internet, via this network, actually the things are connected with each other, so that everything can be managed or can be modified. So if a modification can happen, so it can affect in all the places. So this can be done only through a via network. So the distributed database, in the distributed database part, the networking system plays a huge role. Sometimes it is called a network database or distributed database also. So this distribution, a single things, the distribution provides the opportunities for the parallel execution. So whatever the things have been changed, whatever the data have been changed, so it needs to be affected or reflected in each of the databases where the same data is present. So if a same data is present for two or three simultaneous databases, so changing one changes, if modification have been done in one places, then the reflection or the modification can be reflected or need to reflected in all of the places. So a parallel execution can we can place here. Okay, so replication improves the availability. So sometimes it also improves the availability, because replication of data, so sometimes considering that one data is placed in two or three places, now that data needs to be accessed by four or five other branches. Now if one of the databases have been engaged by any other branch, then the other person or the let us more generalize it. Suppose data is placed in three places, place one, place two, and place three, and two of the person need to access the particular data, suppose person A and person B. Now person A already engaged the data in place one, so person A was already accessing the data in place one. Now while the person B needs to access that particular data, so he is going to look for the place A. So while accessing the data in the place A, he is found that the person B is getting that uh, place A, the data in the place A is already occupied or already is accessed by the person A. So where now the scenario will be, will person B will sit idle, because the data, maybe it is an urgent data that needs to be that needs to use by the person B. So that replication have been placed in some other databases where the person B can look for that if the data is available or here or that particular places. If it is available, then person B can access the data at the same time in some different databases. So this is the some availability. The availability improvement can be done here in the distributed database, where a same type of data can placed or need to placed in different databases, and that particular data can be accessed by one person, can be accessed by more than one person at the same time. So this replication improves the availability also. Now, this distributed database have two types of things. One is some homogeneous database, and another is some heterogeneous distributed database. So looking the things that in first of all, homogeneous distributed database. In homogeneous database, distributed database means all the things need to be same. The homogeneous means the data or whatever the data things or data type that needs to be same. So by keeping that thing in our mind, the term or the meaning of the homogeneous, this particular term, the thing is that all sites have some identical software. So the software, whatever is used by the all the places, that needs to be same. all are aware of each other and agree to cooperate in processing user request. So they need to be in a mutual terms that they will cooperate with each other and they will process the user request as per the demand. So they will process the user request as per the demands. As I said that if person A is getting accessing the place A database, so if person B needs to access the data, so person B can look out for any other places. So the thing is, they need to agree. They are agreeing to cooperate with each other in a mutual way, so that the user data can be processed. So the user don't get delayed. Each side surrender part of its autonomy in terms of right to change schemas or software. So every databases have some mutual agree that any databases can be modified by any other one because the data needs to be reflected everywhere and appears to user as a single system. But the most interesting fact is here that the user who is actually using that, he don't know this type of particular things what is happening in the background. He is only querying something, and yeah, as per the query the person is getting the answer. So this is the simple scenario, means the user looks it as a single database, but the database is working maybe on a large term on a distributed database where the data is getting access from some different places, and it is getting queried. The whatever the query is, as per the query that the data is retrieved by some other places, but the user is finding that it is a single database, and he is querying on a single database and he is getting a reply or retrieving the data from a single database. So this is a type of homogeneous distributed database. So it is called, or means the softwares are identical, the things are same. There need to be in a mutual agreement that every data needs to be shared, and they will cooperate to process the user request. In case of heterogeneous distributed database, the sites may use different schemas and software. So the sites may use different schemas or software. So as the things are heterogeneous, so the softwares may be different, the schemas may be different. In difference in schema is the major problem for query processing. So there the problem will be there, the query processing, because if the schemas are different, so in that particular case the query processing is a little bit problematic actually. And difference in software is a major problem for transition. So transition, because every software has some different schema. So some software will work easily, but some software have some huge schema or security options also. So processing the query in each of the every software, that different softwares actually, is a problematic in the part of heterogeneous distributed database. So sites may not be aware of each other and may provide only limited facilities. So the sites, the distributed database, in heterogeneous distributed database, whatever the sites, all of the sites will not agree with each other. They will only provide some limited access to other for the transaction processing, not the full access. While in homogeneous database, the access is full and anything can be happen, but in heterogeneous distributed database, only a limited portion of access is happening. The limited access is there, so that only the thing is the transaction can be the whatever the query, the transaction can be processed. This is the particular part. So here we can see the process is shared, the memory is shared, the distributed is shared. So process, memory, and distributed database is a shared memory system or shared memory architecture. Some processes are present. The P is for processes, M is for memory, and the memory is accessed by some different processes and some distributed and some different database. So the process is actually accessing the memory and the database. So the memory is getting shared by different processes. The one same memory is actually getting shared by different processes. Here every process have some particular memory. Here we can see a memory has been shared. So every process is sharing a single memory. Every process is sharing a single memory. Here we can see a memory is one, process is more than one, and this databases are more than one. So every process is sharing a single memory. So if one memory is shared by different processes, but why this is called the shared memory architecture. While in the shared disk architecture, every process have some unique memory. So for each process a memory is present there, and some database is accessed there. So for each process a memory is present there, for each process a memory is present there. For so no shared memory type of architecture is available. So in shared disk, the process, every process have some each memory. So every process have some memory, every process has some memory with it, and shared nothing. So here the thing is that nothing is shared. In previous, first in shared memory, we can see that the process is sharing a single memory and the database is also. So the process is sharing the single memory and the database. In the second one, we can see that each process have some defined memory. So memory is not getting shared, but a database is getting shared. So process and memory in the second part, the memory and the process is getting shared. And in the third part, we can see that now nothing will be shared. So each process has some unique memory, and if each process and memory have some unique database. So every process, memory, and database is on a single term. So every process have some memory and some have some database. Every in shared nothing architecture. In shared memory, if the processes have the processors are more than one, but the memory is one, and the distributed database is getting shared by this type of thing. So there are the three type of database architectures we can talk about. That is the shared memory, shared disk, and nothing is actually getting shared. So in nothing is actually getting shared, the scenario is that every process has some memory and some database. So every process has some memory and some database that on where the thing will be worked or the functions will be working. I'm just coming in 1 minute. Just okay. So now we are talking about the issue. So the distributed database, what is the architecture? What is the thing is actually we have seen here. But now issues for selecting the architecture. Now there will be some issues. So because in the case of while the processes are memory shared, the process is getting shared the memory. Some databases are actually getting shared because each of the database is getting accessed by some other places. So the database is actually getting distributed. So in this particular cases, while in the normal database, we have learned about these terms that reliability is needed, scalability is needed, data redundancy needs to be reduced. So these type of things have been we have seen in our basic database. But now while going for the distributed database, these are the terms or these are the issues we have faced here. That is the reliability, scalability, geographical distribution of data, performance, and the cost. Performance and the cost. So issues for selecting this architecture. So these are the problem or these are the issues we can talk about while in the distributed database. That is the reliability, scalability, geographical distribution of data, performance, and the cost. So talking each of the thing as that reliability. Why whenever the thing is actually getting shared or getting accessed by more than one, so then the reliability is reduced. So how we can reliable that on the particular things that where the things is actually getting shared by more than one people or more than one particular places actually we can talk about. So because one person may have the power to change the data or the modify the data. So in that particular case, the reliability is a problem in the distributed database. While in the second part, the scalability is also. And the third, we are talking about the geographical distribution of data. So where the data needs to be placed, in which particular places, which data is actually placed. We need to think on that particular thing also. Then the performance. The performance is actually the means the speed. In the performance, we can talk about the speed of retrieving the query, the time it is taking to retrieve the particular query, because we need to access so many databases to get the data or to process the particular query. And last one is the cost, because it is a cost effective, because for that particular things, there are so many database, and to maintain all the database, to maintain the things, it is a cost, it is a cost effective thing we can talk about. So these particular 5 issues we can face in the case of distributed database. In the case of distributed database, these 5 issues, what are the issues are? First one we can talk about the reliability. Second one we can talk about the scalability. Third one we can talk about the geographical representation of data. Fourth one we can talk about the performance, and fifth one we can talk about the cost. So these are the 5 things that is the issue or the major problem in the distributed database. In the distributed database. So if there are the means this type of problems or this type of issues are present, this type of issues are present, then why the things that distributed database have come into the scenario? Distributed database have come into the scenario. So the advantages for this distributed database, while the normal database it is actually in one places, but if we are talking about this distributed database, the thing is that the advantages we can talk about, that the database is easier to expand as it is already spread in across the multiple system. So the if one person is not getting a data in one particular places, then the thing can be looked for in other database system actually. So this is one type of advantage, because to issuing expanding the databases, expanding the system across the multiple system, is one of the advantages, so that the data can be accessed. And the in distributed database also we can have the data arranged according in defined level of transparency. So we can arrange the data in the defined level of transparency. We can arrange the data with the defined level of transparency. Then it can be stored according to the departmental information. So we can break the data, we can segregate the data and store that particular data in each of the places wherever it needed. So we don't need to keep all the data in one places. So suppose one thing is there, that everything needs to be placed in one centralized place. But while in defined branches we don't need to place all the data in every places. So we can segregate the data, that in which particular database what type of data can we place, what type of data can we place. So this is the easier thing, or this is easy to use or manage actually. And we can see it is to create, we have to create a network system, and through this network system we can actually access all the data. So this network system will actually help us to content, or help us to show the access the data in every aspect, to access the data in every aspect. So if one place, if suppose there are 5 database actually present, so if one of the database may get hampered or may get down for some reason, then the other 4 database will continue to perform, and the data processing will not stop. So this is the advantages for the distributed database. While in the normal database we can talk about, if the system gets failed, then the database system will also fail. But here we have the advantages that data processing will never stop. So if one place have some problem, then we have the time to fix it, while the other databases can give the support to process the queries. So these are the advantages. And while we are talking the distribution, so we have the disadvantages that we have to already talk about, that the reliability, the scalability, where to geographical distribution, the performance, and the cost also. So this is the distributed database disadvantage. Also there is another disadvantage is the security, because when the thing is shared within many people, then there is a concern security things actually. So security is the major concern in that particular places. Security is a major concern in that particular place. So now there are two type of distributed database can be present. One can be a parallel and one can be a distributed. So parallel or distributed database we are talking about. So in parallel database system, the thing is that it is fast interconnected, and the software are homogeneous, or same type of software is used everywhere, and high performance we can achieve, and transparency is one of the important thing in parallel databases. So these are the features, or these are the advantages of parallel databases. That first one, the first interconnect. So data the connection is very fast in the parallel processing. And the second thing is that the homogeneous, the software are homogeneous, or the software are same everywhere. So we don't get confused in each time. So everywhere the software is same actually. The high performance, for this particular reason the performance is very high, and the transparency is one of the important part is in the parallel database system, in the parallel distributed database. While the distributed database, in the distributed database, we can see that the geographically distributed, so data is placed in more than one, and the data sharing is the goal. So here the goal is to data share. The data needs to be shared or data access can be done. So if one particular place gets hampered, then other databases will give the support to continue the performance or continue the work. There was disconnected operation possible. So we can also disconnect one particular database for some reason, maybe for some upgradation, for some modification needs to be happen. So for that particular reason, we can may stop one particular distributed database to work. That will not affect our total system. That will not affect our total system. So these are the features available in our distributed database also. So there are challenges in the distributed database. There are some challenges also. What are the challenges? Means what are the issues we have already talked about. So from that particular issue, there will be some challenges also. That is that deciding what data goes where. First one, that is the geographically location. So in which particular place, which data needs we need to place. So this is a problem in distributed database design. So we need to keep in mind that which data we need to place in what in where depends on data access pattern on major applications. So data access pattern needs to be followed, so that the data access pattern needs to find out. That is also an important thing. And another sub problems we can talk about the fragmentation and the allocation. The fragmentation and the allocation. So fragmentation, we all know that the data needs to be fragmented or data is getting fragmented into the defined databases. So the centralized data needs to fragment and needs to place in different databases. So there is a problem that what type of data, or this is the another means the geographic location, we can categorize it that it is a subpart of geographical location. The partition tables into fragments. Allocation, allocate fragment to nodes. So also the allocation that which fragments need to allocate where, which fragment needs to allocate where. So these are the challenges we can talk about in our distributed database part. So suppose there is a relational data model we are talking about. So in relational data model, the replication, fragmentation, this thing can happen. So replication means the system maintains multiple copies of data stored in different sites for faster retrieval and fault tolerance. So replication is done for what purpose? The multiple copies of data is present in different sites, and it will help us to for the faster retrieval and fault tolerance. So it will help us for the faster retrieval and the fault tolerance. Fragmentation, it is a relation is partition into several fragments stored in the distinct site. So the relation is partition into the several fragments. So more fragmentation have been done here, and it will be stored in the distinct site. So this replication and fragmentation can be combined in the relational data model. Replication relation is a partition into several fragments, and system maintains that identical replicates in each of the fragments. So this is a type of relational data model. So a relation or a fragment of a relation is replicated if it's stored redundantly in two or more sites. So the data is getting replicated here. And full replication of a relation is the case where the relation is stored at all sites. And fully redundant database are those in which every site contains a copy of every entire database. So fully redundant databases are those in which every site contains a copy of the entire database. So three type of thing can be done. Replicated, first the data is replicated, and the replicated data can be fragmented and placed at different particular places or different distinct places. And one thing we can say that every distinct places have the total replicated data, have the total replicated data. So every distinct places have the total copy of or the total replication copy of the entire database. So what is the advantages of replication? While we are doing this application and the fragmentation, or for what is the advantage, what is the necessity of this replication, as we have talked about in the first case, that the availability, the data availability will be much more, the data availability will be the much more. So failure of one side, or maybe the one side is accessed by some other actually, so in that particular case we don't need to wait, we can have the data from some other different places. So that is the availability. So it will not affect the it will not affect, or it will not affect in the term of that the result or the query will be processed will very fast. The processing query, the query processing will be very fast. So the availability will be very fast to the user. Parallelism, queries or maybe processed by several nodes on in parallel. So the queries may be processed by several nodes in parallel. So a single query can be processed by several nodes. A single query can be processed by several nodes and reduces the data transfer. So availability of locally at each site contains a replica of R, and so that the reduces of data transfer. So data transfer, we don't need to data transfer from one place to another. So as the data is available, we can access the data from that particular places. But we are talking about the advantages, but here also some disadvantages also we can see about that. Increase the cost of updates. Each replica of relation R must be updated. Increase complexity on the concurrency control. Increase the complexity of concurrency control. Concurrent updates to distinct replicas may lead to inconsistent data unless special concurrency control mechanism is. So these are the disadvantages. First of the cost, we have talked about the it is as an issue in the distributed database, the cost, because we have to maintain so many databases at defined places. We have to maintain so many memory and the database. We have the defined places. Also, the network cost is there. So, by combining all of this, the cost for that particular thing will be very high. And also it increases the complexity of the concurrency control. So, doing the concurrency control is very complex in this particular thing when the replication of they have been replicated and stored in different places. So we have to do that. What for that purpose we have to choose the primary copy. We have to choose the primary copy where we can mention that it is the head of the master copy, and then we can apply concurrency control operations on the primary copy. So with the concurrency control operations can be performed on the master copy. So it means that the main database actually maintained by the central head office or the head branch. So we can choose it as a primary copy, and then we can apply the concurrency control operations on that particular primary copy. So this division of this total R or the relation R into the several fragments which contains the sufficient information to reconstruct the relation. So divide and conquer approach or algorithm have been followed here. So where the things have been divided first and it have been placed in different places, and then while retrieving the query, while processing a query, the data is actually conquered again. When whatever the database actually needed, that data actually getting conquered, and so that the reconstruction can be happen. In horizontal fragmentation, each tuple of R is assigned to one or more fragments. So in horizontal fragmentation, each tuple of R is assigned to one or more fragments. Vertical fragmentation, the schema for relation R is split into several smaller schemas. The schema of R is split into several smaller schemas, and all schemas must contain a common candidate key. So in vertical fragmentation, there will be a schema, and all the schema will contain a same common candidate key, or we can call it a super key also, to ensure that there will be no lossless join properties. So we need to keep many properties of database. We need to keep in mind. So we need to work on those things. We need to look after those things also. So it is a huge challenge. We can say that to maintain a distributed database or to work on the distributed database, it is a challenge, or it is a tough thing for the maintenance of the programmers or the database administrator, whoever the thing are. So here we can see some example is present that the relation account with the following schema, similar account, that is the branch name, some account number has been present, and some balance has been. So three parameters have been set, that is the branch name, account number, and the balance. And as per that, some data have been present. So as per that, some data have been present in branch name. So in account one, suppose in account one, for the branch name for hillside, this data is available. For the branch name Valley View, some value have been placed. So we can see this is the horizontal fragmentation of the account relation. So there are two more tables, one or more than one table is actually present where the accounts table have been maintained by the account branch name, by the branch name. So now combining this, there are the branch name which is actually common, that is the hillside Valley View, and then the account number. So it is actually maintained by the vertically. So it is actually maintained by some deposit parameters. So first one is actually the horizontal fragmentation, which actually we have done on the branch name, or which actually categorized by the branch name. And second one we have done on some vertical fragmentation, which have been done some vertical and also the account number also. So we need to think that. So advantages of fragmentation, that in horizontal fragmentation is allows the parallel processing or fragmentation into a relation. So it allows the parallel processing of fragmentation of a relation and allows the relation to be split, that tuples are located where they are most frequently access. So these are the advantages of horizontal fragmentation, and also there are some advantages of vertical fragmentation that allows the tuples to be split so that each part of the tuple is stored where it most frequently is. So we in the vertical fragmentation, what we can do that we allows the tuples to be split. So the tuples are getting splitted and each part of the tuple is stored where it most frequently. So we are placing the tuple. First we are splitting the tuple and then we are placing that particular tuple where it is actually getting access for a number of times. So we are for the user's purpose, where the thing is actually getting access by much time by many times. They are the splitting tables or the splitting tuples is actually placed in that particular database so that it can access easily and allows the parallel processing on a relation and allows the parallel processing on a relation. So vertical and horizontal fragmentation can also be mixed, and this fragmentation may be successively fragmented to an arbitrary depth. So these are the advantages we can say. These are the many things we can talk about the advantages of fragmentation or the distributed database. So as the time is just 30 seconds left, so I will request that if anyone have missed your name to write in the chat box, please write it down in the chat box for the attendance purpose. And we will stop here for our discussion today. So if anyone have missed your name to write in the chat box, do write it in the chat box.